Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WWE NXT July 11th, 2018 review. This episode was off the charts. There was a little bit of storyline build-up, especially for the women and World Heavyweight title. There was a lot of great action in the middle of the ring. This episode should have been called the Takeover of Undisputed. Because I have to tell you guys one thing. There is something severely fucking insane about these three guys. Especially Roderick Strong. I'm going to mention this. He again hit his partner Kyle O'Reilly in the matchup of the main event. I think there is signs that is telling the audience that Bobby Fish is coming back from injury very soon, and that Roderick Strong is going to be knocked out of the group. That is what I truly believe is going to happen. I think that they're going to eventually make Roderick Strong a weak link within the Undisputed Era, and we are eventually going to see Roderick Strong eliminated from the group. This is the second time we've seen this incident happen. I think that is definitely a clue. So keep an eye out for that, guys. If you guys would like to express your opinion about that, please comment on that part of this video. I would definitely like to hear from other opinions on the situation. Other things that happened. Danny Burch had a very close encounter with Adam Cole, and they had a fantastic matchup. My personal opinion, that matchup was a 4 out of 5 stars. Kairi Sane and Vanessa Bourne had a matchup. It was okay, decent matchup, definitely giving Kairi Sane some momentum into her number one contenders match, which will be taken care of next week on NXT. We are going to see 4 competitors in this matchup. The 4 women are Kairi Sane, Nikki Cross, Candice LeRae, and I believe it is Bianca Belair. Those are the 4 women that will be in this Fatal 4-Way matchup. So, that is definitely probably more than likely going to be the main event of next week's NXT. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry. So, what was my thoughts really on the main event? Well, before I get into that, I do want to mention the 2 other segments that occurred. Candice LeRae, she actually confronted the women's champion of NXT, Shayna Baszler, one of my favorite female wrestlers in WWE right now. I love her heel gimmick. I like everything about her. And not to mention, she doesn't cheat in the middle of her matches. She most of the time performs under the rules and beats her opponents down with intimidation and head tactics. She does have heel tactics, though. I mean, she'll run away if she thinks that she's not having an advantage, or will try to walk away from the match because she doesn't feel she's going to win. But at the end of the day, she performs under a very high level. I think she is what Ronda Rousey right now should be at. I think Ronda Rousey should be positioned as a heel, not as a face. I think she should be Stephanie McMahon's prime woman that she goes to do her bidding, and with her doing all that, she would eventually get a WWE Championship match rather quickly and become the WWE Women's Champion and be the most powerful female in the women's division. So that's just how I would see it. But then again, Ronda Rousey also did have a rivalry with Stephanie McMahon before she came to WWE, so that might have not worked. But that's not here or there. Personally, Shayna Baszler is the best female on NXT right now. We got Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane performed very well in her match with Vanessa Bourne. I have no gripes on her. I am very satisfied with her in-ring ability. But I do think that Shayna Baszler legitimately is the best in-ring performer. Reason being of her MMA background, her fighting skills, and everything else in between. She really can put on an authentic matchup that you won't see from most women. Kairi Sane is in that field. I gotta give her credit for that, because I've noticed something. I think a lot of the Asian female in-ring performers in wrestling are 10 times better than the American in-ring performers from the females of the United States. I think they are more like Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey type wrestlers, even though they've never competed in mixed martial arts or done anything in MMA to begin with. So I think that is one thing you guys might want to consider. I think Asian female wrestlers are probably way better than American female wrestlers. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think about that. We also had Aleister Black be interviewed. I mentioned Candice LeRae and Shayna Baszler. They had a confrontation. Candice LeRae now wants a shot at the Women's Championship, which I already mentioned. They're going to have a fatal four-way match to determine who will be the number one contender for Shayna Baszler's championship. Now we move on to Aleister Black, the World Heavyweight Champion, with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Now, as you already know, you kind of figure Johnny Gargano was going to be on the side of this storyline. You were going to expect Johnny Gargano to have some personal interest in this matchup, of course, because of what happened at NXT Chicago. Now, what do I believe should be the situation here? Honestly, I really don't know. I really don't know where they could go with this. I know it should lead to a not Goldberg, a Tommaso Ciampa and a Johnny Gargano one-on-one world title match. One of them is going to be a world champion leading into their matchup between the two of them. Chances being, I'm going to have to say Tommaso Ciampa is going to have a transitional championship run. That's what I believe is going to happen. I think in November or in WrestleMania weekend, their rivalry is going to finally come to an end. I kind of hope it comes to an end in November. Tommaso Ciampa winning the WWE NXT Championship, I'm not quite sure yet. I think what we probably are going to see is Tommaso Ciampa not win the title, win by DQ, thanks to Johnny Gargano. William Regal is going to come out, and he's going to state that since we can't keep Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano from killing each other, we're going to have ourselves a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That is what I believe this is leading to. Giving the World Championship the main event spot, because Aleister Black's momentum creatively hasn't been all that great since they started this rivalry with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. It's overshadowed everything on the card. So, with that being said, I honestly think that this is going to lead to a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I think that at that event, we are going to see Tommaso Ciampa win the WWE NXT Championship, leading to a final matchup at Survivor Series weekend when we get to see Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano go one-on-one, no holds barred, last man standing matchup, and the loser leaves NXT and is the NXT World Champion, whoever wins that title. William Regal is going to get so fed up of these two men beating the hell out of each other, screwing each other out of championship matches and regular matches on its own, that we are going to see this match come to a head in a no-holds-barred match with last man standing. Or, I think we got something better. I think we should have Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano's last matchup for the NXT World Championship held inside of a Hell in a Cell. That is what I really think that should happen. Not last man standing, not any of that bullshit. We need to see Hell in the Cell NXT TakeOver Survivor Series weekend be for the NXT World Championship, with Tommaso Ciampa being the champion going in, Johnny Gargano going in as a challenger, them in Hell in a Cell, ending their rivalry, and ending whatever is left of these two men, because they have torn each other apart. And I think that's where the story should end. The loser would leave NXT, they would go on to the main roster, and we would have the world champion stay in NXT for that time. And I honestly think that Johnny Gargano should win that title at Hell in a Cell, and Tommaso Ciampa can move on to the WWE main roster, or give him some time off, and then move them both to the main roster whenever they think they should. But honestly, these two guys are ready for the main roster. Now, what Vince McMahon does with them is the scary part. They would perform very high at a very high level. They would be able to perform in front of 15,000 screaming maniac fans on a week-to-week basis. The problem is, how is Vince McMahon going to use these men? Are they going to use them? Is he going to use them the way they've been used in NXT? More than likely not. Honestly, these two guys are ready for a main roster push, and I honestly think they fit the bill properly. But the problem is how Vince McMahon uses them is the issue. That's where my concern is. But them being on NXT is underwhelming. It's not something that they deserve. They deserve a higher stage for what they're doing. Because what they are doing is unbelievable. It is like Triple H, Shawn Michaels type rivalry. And I have to say, if there was any rivalry in WWE history that stood out to me the most, was two rivalries, and it both involved Triple H, and that was Triple H versus Shawn Michaels and Triple H versus The Rock. This rivalry reminds me very much like the Triple H-Shawn Michaels rivalry because of the fact that they're real-life friends. But at the end of the day, they perform at a high level to the point of Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They are brutal, they are rough with each other in that ring, and they are very stiff on one another in their spots with one another. I'm very impressed at how well these two guys have performed together, and I really hope to God that they don't get buried in the main roster. But they probably will, because Vince McMahon's a piece of shit. Anyway, getting into the whole segment with Tyler Black, or Aleister Black. Aleister Black was asked what is his thoughts on facing Tommaso Ciampa and him being called a transitional champion. Didn't really have so much thoughts on it. Johnny Gargano came about. He said, you gotta beat him. You cannot lose this matchup. Aleister Black looked at him and said, I know you have a personal interest in this. I'm going to take care of my personal business, and you don't worry yourself about it, and you worry about your own. When he walks into the building, Tommaso Ciampa attacks him from the side. He goes ahead and he DDTs him straight into the concrete. His legs stiffen up, and Aleister Black is completely fucking gone. He looked like he sustained a concussion. That's the way it looked to me. So, It was pretty fucking bad, and he was selling that pretty damn well. Now, we move into the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Mustache Mountain versus the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. I already mentioned earlier in this video that Roderick Strong, again, for the second time with the titles on the line, struck his own partner. Roderick Strong is really getting to a point in my mind that he is going to be dumped from Undisputed Era. Is he a good asset to them? Yes. Is he helping them win matches? Yeah. But he almost cost them their fucking match with Mustache Mountain again. Now, you got to take that in consideration. But he did get the victory for his team. He managed to pick up the victory. I believe he was the one that was holding the submission hold, or it might have been Kyle O'Reilly, and Tyler Bate had to throw in the towel. Now, that scene where Trent Seven was in a submission hold the entire time that he was in, I was like, wow. This match really, to be honest with you, should have been on the main event of an NXT TakeOver. This was so damn good. I mean, on paper, it just looks like a regular matchup. Yeah, it could have been on pay-per-view, but not main event. But my God, the way the quality of this match was, it was main event quality. 100% for a pay-per-view, in my honest opinion. Unbelievable. Trent Seven sold this fucking matchup extremely well. Do I think that was real injury? I hope not. If that is a real injury, boy oh boy, does Trent Seven have a lot to be concerned about. Tyler Bate, though, is a little bit disappointing based on the setup that we saw. I kind of think that Tyler Bate should have just got in the ring and broke the hold. Really, he didn't have to stand outside the ring and just throw in the towel. He could have just walked in and stomped Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong, I don't remember which. And just go ahead and break the hold, and then hopefully he could crawl over and get the tag. But that wasn't to be. But in-ring action, my God. This match was a 5 out of 5 stars. Great main event for an NXT show. Unbelievable. I mean, I haven't seen a tag team match this good since probably American Alpha versus the Revival. I mean, it was that damn good. Or even Revival versus DIY with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa a few years back. But at the end of the day, man, this was a fucking unbelievable matchup. Back and forth action. Tyler Bate had a portion of this match where he was carrying the team by himself because of Trent Seven's leg injury. Trent Seven wanted to get back in, but Tyler Bate didn't want him to. He was really worried that he would get severely injured even more than he already was from what it looked like, and he wanted to keep him out of the match. Unfortunately, Trent Seven eventually got back into the ring because Tyler Bate couldn't do it by himself anymore. He was taking a huge chance of losing the titles anyway, so he had to switch over to his partner who was sustaining a leg injury. But man, I give props to all four men in this matchup. Unbelievable action. At the end of the day, we see the Undisputed Era walking out as the new tag team champions. And we got to see Bobby Fish show up on the top of the stage with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, celebrating the victory over the Mustache Mountain tag team. And like I said, I mean, if that's not any kind of clue or something to you that Roderick Strong might be dumped on his ass eventually, you're crazy, because he almost cost them twice the tag team titles. He hit his partner twice. And then we're seeing Bobby Fish. I think eventually we're going to see a dump out of Roderick Strong at Undisputed Era, but I've said that about 5 or 6 times in this video. But it's very obvious based on what you see. But anyway, guys, If you liked the video, hit the like button. Leave a comment and opinion down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. I definitely would love to hear you guys' opinion on these episodes. And also, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And have a great day, guys. Bye.